The Queen of Spades is a 1916 Russian silent film. It is based off of an 1834 Alexandr Pushkin short story with the same name. This is actually the second film adaptation. From what I'm understanding is that in 1910, there was a recording done of a stage production of a Tchaikovsky opera. And I will, of course, put all the information in the description box. Now, this particular film has a lot of special effects, which I absolutely love. I love how they portrayed a lot of the, because I'm a sucker for special effects that were done during the silent film era. And the director, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce. I'll of course have all that, all of the names and everything in the description box. But he did a lot of camera techniques and he did a lot of these special effects. There's one in particular that I absolutely love where who is considered the Queen of Spades, she was having a flashback sequence and behind her was a mirror and it showed that flashback sequence and then slowly moved into the actual. It was really creative. it was absolutely wonderful. I loved it. So the actual story follows this Russian military officer named, now I'm not sure because the translation that it was showing said German, so I'm not sure if it was just a translation problem, but it was saying German as the name. But I'm also seeing that the character name on all of, like on Internet Movie Database and everything is saying Hermann. So it's either German or Hermann. So, but this particular individual has a limited fortune. So, and then he hears the story of this countess and how she had a gambling problem, and she all of a sudden found this trick. She was told of this trick to help her gain more money, and he wanted to know the trick. And he suddenly became obsessed with learning this trick. Well, he left this party that he was at where he had found out about this trick, found where she lived, and did everything he could to get close to the countess. And it basically what I got out of it was, this is what gambling will do. when you have a gambling problem, this is what'll happen. And so I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the story. I got very invested in this story. I mean, very invested. One minute I was on Hermann or German, I was on his side. The next minute I was very upset with him. The next minute I'm sympathizing with him. The next minute I'm just, it's just, I love those types of stories. And but again, I have become a huge fan of Alexandr Pushkin. I have there are a couple of silent, I think the portrait is that I critiqued is from one of his stories. But so Alexander is a wonderful, he's one of the great Russian short story. Now I couldn't find short story writers. I should finish my sentence. I couldn't find how this was received and I did look for that, but I could not find. However, there have been this has been remade. It was remade in 1960 and it was remade in 1982. Again, this was remade. I mean, this was a remake. In 1910, I guess it was people were filming a stage adaptation of Tchaikovsky's opera. So, and just a note with the 1982 version, it's taking the story like line for line and everything. So they're not. So I don't know how that one worked. I'm not going to, but I find that very interesting. Usually those types of they don't work, but maybe it did. So, but anyway, in closing, I loved the sets. I loved the costumes. I didn't mention that, but I will say it. The sets, the costumes, they were absolutely beautiful. The camera techniques that were done were phenomenal. I mean, again, this was in 1916. I'm blown away by the fact that now we use CGI and we don't use it very well. I'll go there. But all the techniques that they used back then, it just blows my mind. And there was a long list of different techniques that were used in this film. The story was one, like I said, it just seems like one of those that's telling you this is what happens when you become obsessed with something, you know, with your addiction or something like that. So that's what I got out of it anyway. So anyway, this is The Queen of Spades. It's a Russian film. It was released in 1916.